Look who just shifted the entire frequency of their existence without even realizing it. Welcome back, you accidental architects of fate. The silent heroes who never needed capes. The beautiful fools who gave without expecting anything in return. You've arrived at the moment where your quiet kindness triggered something deep in the shadows. Something ancient, intelligent, and watchful. Something that never forgets a debt. You fed astray, didn't you? Maybe not literally, but in some way. Somewhere you reached into the void when no one was watching. You helped when it cost you something. You showed up when everyone else walked away. You gave your last piece of bread to someone who couldn't pay you back. And you did it quietly. No post, no story, no audience, no applause. Just you, your conscience, and a split-second decision to be more than what this world conditioned you to be. Here's what they never told you about kindness, about the kind that cost you, the kind that leaves you a little emptier, a little more vulnerable, but infinitely more alive. That energy doesn't vanish into nothingness. It doesn't dissolve like smoke into the universe. No, it moves. It travels through invisible networks, through frequencies unseen, through hidden systems that respond only to truth. That act of compassion becomes a signal, a pulse that echoes through the fabric of reality. And sometimes, just sometimes, it reaches someone who wasn't supposed to see it. Someone searching for proof that purity still exists in a world built on transactions, manipulation, and self-interest. That someone isn't ordinary. They're a person with reach, not just wealth or status, but influence that bends outcomes, access that opens sealed doors, and resources that could reshape destinies. And right now, they've seen you. They're not watching with suspicion or judgment. No, they're watching with something far more potent: respect. Because you did something most people don't anymore. You acted from integrity with no audience, no motive, and no script. You've become an anomaly, a spark that reignited their curiosity in what's real. That stray you fed wasn't random. It was a test disguised as a moment of compassion, an audition you never knew you were in, a hidden doorway pretending to be a dead end. And you passed effortlessly, because you weren't performing goodness. You were embodying it. You moved from a place deep within you, a place this world tried to bury but failed to kill. Right now, in rooms you'll never walk into, in conversations you'll never hear, your name is circulating, not as gossip, not as rumor, but as presentation, as potential, as a rare find in a world flooded with noise. They're not invading your privacy, they're studying your energy. They're asking, who is this person? What drives them? What's their story? What could they do if given the right opportunity? Because at the highest levels, credentials mean nothing. Authenticity does. And you, without even trying, just proved you're the real thing. They're not moved by performance or theatrics. They've seen every trick, every act, every fake smile that pretends to be virtue. What gets their attention is something infinitely rarer: authenticity in motion, character under pressure, goodness without an audience. And you, without even realizing it, just demonstrated all three. You didn't know anyone was observing, and yet your choices spoke louder than any speech could. You probably think your quiet sacrifices vanish into the background noise of an indifferent universe. You assume your late nights helping that ungrateful coworker went unseen, that paying for a stranger's coffee was just a moment lost to the wind, that choosing kindness over revenge or silence over chaos made no real difference. But here's the truth. Energy like that doesn't disappear, it travels. It's recorded in the invisible architecture of existence, and it always finds its way to those who can feel it. The people at the highest levels, the ones who have seen too much, done too much, and trust almost no one. They've developed something like a sixth sense for authenticity. They can detect it instantly because it's so rare in the artificial world they inhabit. Everyone around them wants something: attention, favor, opportunity, leverage. Everyone's performing. But you weren't. You weren't angling for anything. You were just being decent when it cost you something to be. And that's what cut through the static. That's what made them stop. That's what made them look again. Understand, this isn't a fairy tale. There's no magical payout waiting around the corner. The universe doesn't function like a cosmic vending machine. Insert good deed, receive reward. What's happening is far more intricate and far more dangerous. This is recognition, not from people who gossip, but from those whose awareness carries weight, from minds that can shift the course of events, from hands that can move the unseen levers of influence. Let's revisit that stray you fed. Maybe it was literal: a homeless person, a struggling friend, an injured animal. Or maybe it was metaphorical: mentoring someone with nothing to offer in return, defending someone everyone else abandoned, speaking truth when lying would have been easier, choosing integrity when compromise would have paid more. Whatever form it took, that act sent a signal, a ripple through dimensions most never perceive. It bypassed logic, skipped the visible chain of cause and effect, and landed squarely in the radar of those who navigate by energy, not appearances. Someone felt it. Someone who spent years studying patterns in human behavior, learning to differentiate genuine goodness from calculated self-interest. Someone who understands that the real pillars of civilization are the invisible ones, people like you, quietly holding the world together while others perform for applause. They felt your frequency. They recognized your signature. And now they're intrigued. Not intrigued in the way the powerful toy with the powerless. No, this curiosity runs deeper. It's the fascination of a master who's just witnessed something pure and unmanufactured. The respect of a general seeing courage thought long extinct. The excitement of an architect discovering a material beyond imagination. You've awakened something in people who thought they'd seen everything. And now the energy around you is shifting. These observers, they're not coming to harm you, use you, or drain you. They're approaching with intent, because they've recognized something they can't buy, can't fake, and can't replicate. What you possess, character, integrity, empathy without agenda, is a lost art form. It's the human element that even the most powerful empires cannot reproduce. You've become the rarest resource in existence, someone real. And when the ones who run the machinery of the world find someone like that, they don't look away. They extend an opportunity. Real opportunity. The kind that shifts trajectories, redefines timelines, and opens doors you didn't even realize were doors. But before that wave reaches you, before your life is interrupted by forces beyond your current field of view, there's something crucial you need to understand. This isn't about being rescued. This isn't about some powerful figure descending into your story to save you from your circumstances. This is about recognition. About someone finally seeing what you already are, what you've been constructing quietly, brick by brick, when no one was clapping and no one was promising a reward. They're not coming to transform you. They're coming because transformation isn't needed. They're not coming to repair you. They're coming because you were never broken. They're not here to lecture you on values. They're here because you already embody the very principles they've spent years, even lifetimes, trying to cultivate in others. You are the completed design walking in a world still testing prototypes. You're proof that the human spirit, uncorrupted and intact, still functions the way it was meant to. And that alone makes you a rarity, valuable in ways you haven't yet begun to comprehend. Now, when they make contact, it won't be dramatic. These people don't reveal themselves with spectacle or noise. The ones who move at those higher levels, where influence bends realities rather than metrics, operate with precision and subtlety. You might get a message from a name you don't recognize, an invitation to something that feels a little beyond your usual circle, or a conversation with someone who seems to know far too much about you. Not in a threatening way, but in a way that feels intentional, calculated, like they're confirming a theory. You might receive an offer that feels too aligned, too timely to be coincidence. That's not chance. That's your frequency being acknowledged. Pay close attention. This isn't luck. It isn't random benevolence from the universe. What's happening is that your signal, your specific energetic blueprint, just got matched. You've been located by someone scanning for exactly what you emit. In those early interactions, they'll test you, but not in the way you think. They won't be watching for gratitude or reverence. They don't want you to bow or act honored. They're looking for consistency. The same quiet strength, humility, and authenticity that drew them in to begin with. They want to see if you can receive without losing your center, if you can accept opportunity without turning desperate, if you can sit at a table of power without morphing into a servant. Because here's what most people misunderstand about true power: the real kind. The kind that moves industries, shapes governments, and redirects destinies. Those who wield it are constantly surrounded by flattery, manipulation, and masks. They drown daily in people performing sincerity. So when they encounter someone who doesn't need them, who remains the same person regardless of what's at stake, it disarms them completely. If you can engage with what's coming the same way you did with that first act of kindness, with honesty, composure, and zero attachment to outcome, everything begins to shift. The invisible locks start clicking open. Doors that once seemed welded shut will swing wide. Conversations that used to feel impossible will unfold naturally. Resources that were once out of reach will start to flow towards you, not because you forced it, not because you played the game better than others, but because you became the rarest phenomenon in a world built on artifice. Someone who acts from truth, not strategy. And that, more than ambition, performance, or skill, is what moves the architects of reality to open gates that can't be pried. The capacity to remain human, truly, vulnerably human, in a world that has almost entirely forgotten how, is the rarest strength left. And those who still remember what that looks like, the ones who have been searching for it like archaeologists digging through layers of apathy and simulation, they notice when it appears. They've spent years testing for it through conversations that felt hollow, encounters that promised much but delivered nothing, people who talked light but lived darkness. So when they finally stumble upon it, upon you, they protect it like a relic. They invest in it, nurture it, and create pathways for it to flourish. Not out of charity or pity, but out of strategic recognition. They understand that people like you are not just rare. You are critical infrastructure for whatever fragments of the human spirit still remain. Because in a world oversaturated with intellect, noise, and ambition, humanity is the one element that can't be mass-produced. Empathy can't be coded. Integrity can't be branded. Compassion can't be monetized. You can train someone to act like they care, but you can't teach them to feel like you do. That's what separates you. You are living proof that somewhere deep in the circuitry of existence, something pure still operates the way it was designed to. That's why they're watching. That's why they move for you. That's why you've started to attract people, situations, and possibilities that seem impossibly aligned. But before you step into this next stage, you need to hear the truth. Not the comforting, self-help kind, but the kind that might sting a little. What's coming will change you. It will stretch you, test you, and strip away parts of your identity you thought were permanent. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because elevation always demands excavation. You can't rise without losing some of what once kept you grounded. When opportunity appears, when people of real power reach out, the temptation to adapt will be relentless. You'll be asked, subtly or directly, to become more professional, more diplomatic, more strategic. In other words, less you. You'll feel pressure to sand down the edges that make you authentic, to exchange sincerity for presentation, to prove that you belong in rooms that were never designed for someone as raw as you. But if you give in to that, if you perform yourself into acceptance, you'll betray the only thing that made those doors open in the first place. Because understand this, the people coming for you are not rescuers. They are recognizers. They saw the light you produced in the dark, unprovoked, unmonetized, unbroadcasted, and it caught their attention. If you start performing now, you kill the signal they followed. They came because you were you, not a polished version of yourself. Don't ruin that by trying to fit in. You have to make a conscious choice to stay grounded in the middle of expansion, to stay real when everything around you becomes performative. The world will try to shape you into something it can consume, but your task is to remain unprocessed, alive, unpredictable, incorruptible. Remember, the reason they're approaching you is because you didn't change when it was easy to. Don't start changing now that it's hard. Stay exactly as you were in that moment when you fed the stray, not because someone was watching, but because it was right. Stay as you were when you chose silence over drama, compassion over revenge, grace over validation. That version of you, humble, centered, sincere, is the only one that can survive what's coming without being broken by it. Every other version, the one that tries to adapt or impress, will shatter under the pressure. Even if they test you, and they will. Even if they act like they want something else from you, even if their tone makes you question your worth, hold your center. Because beneath the surface, they're not looking for compliance. They're looking for consistency. They're trying to confirm that the person they saw from afar is the same person up close. Now let's ground this in reality. No metaphors, no mysticism, just cause and effect. That small act of kindness you performed, that decision to be decent when no one was watching, it didn't dissolve into the ether. It created data, not digital, but energetic. Information about your core, about how you act when no one's grading your paper. And that information traveled. Maybe someone saw it and couldn't shake it from their mind. Maybe a conversation happened between people you've never met, and your name surfaced in the right moment. Maybe you unknowingly inspired a chain reaction, one decision affecting another until it reached someone capable of shifting your trajectory. That's how energy works. Real energy. It doesn't fade. It doesn't need attention to exist. It moves through networks invisible to the eye but precise in their calibration. It seeks resonance, and once it finds the right frequency, yours, it amplifies. What you sent out came back multiplied. You think it was just a small gesture. They see it as proof of character. You thought it disappeared. They see it as data worth acting on. You thought it made no difference. It made all the difference. Right now, there are people whose entire lives operate behind the curtains of power, talking about you without you ever knowing. Someone somewhere brought your name into a conversation that mattered. Someone referenced the story of what you did. Someone connected dots you didn't even know existed. And that's how fate moves, not loudly, not publicly, but quietly. Through whispers, impressions, and intuitive recognition. So when this wave finally reaches your shore, remember, you didn't earn it by hustling harder or shouting louder. You summoned it by being human in a world that's starving for humanity. And that, my friend, is the kind of power that can't be taken, traded, or replicated, only lived. Maybe that energy traveled through unseen corridors, channels that no telescope, sensor, or algorithm has ever mapped. Yet the people who live at elevated frequencies have always known how to navigate. These aren't physical paths, they're streams of resonance. Invisible highways made of intention, emotion, and consequence. Science hasn't caught up yet because it's too busy dissecting matter to realize that energy moves like language, not like light. The signal you created didn't obey geography or logic. It slipped through layers of space and probability until it reached a destination it was never supposed to. Right in front of someone whose worldview had calcified into cynicism. This person had long stopped believing in sincerity. They'd seen too many liars wrapped in virtue, too many good deeds performed for cameras, too many people who use kindness as currency. But when your energy hit their field, it did something subtle but irreversible. It disrupted their internal model of the world. It made them pause mid-thought. For the first time in years, they wondered if maybe not everyone was operating from fear, greed, or desperation. It planted a question in their mind. What if there are still people who do the right thing even when it costs them? That single doubt fractured the shield of their certainty. And that's when things began to move. Because when someone at that level, someone who holds real leverage, someone who can shift systems with a word or a signature, starts wondering about you, the universe responds in ways that seem impossible to explain. Algorithms begin quietly bending in your favor. Conversations that were never meant to include your name start orbiting around it. People you've never met mention you to people who matter, and those people start paying attention without knowing why. Emails get answered faster. Introductions appear out of nowhere. Projects you thought were buried start breathing again. The matrix of reality itself seems to tilt slightly toward your direction. This isn't coincidence, and it isn't magic. It's the natural flow of energetic cause and effect, the invisible economy that operates above the physical one. Influence at those levels doesn't look like networking events or LinkedIn connections. It looks like whispers, intuition, a passing comment in the right ear at the right moment. It's not about who you know. It's about who's talking about you when you're not in the room. It's not about your resume or your online footprint. It's about the informational current moving through the collective. Data about your essence, your integrity, your frequency. And right now, that current is carrying an accurate signal. Your name, attached to proof of character. Because you fed astray. Because you acted from empathy when you could have looked away. Because you chose decency when it cost you comfort. You didn't just do a good deed. You triggered a ripple in the architecture of reality. You reintroduced a forgotten element into the algorithm. Human goodness without agenda. That vibration didn't stay local. It traveled, it resonated, it aligned itself with people who have the power to amplify it. It found its way to someone who needed to see that kind of purity still exists, precisely at the moment when their faith in humanity was collapsing. And that single alignment, that intersection of your act and their awareness, rewrote probability ever so slightly. Suddenly, doors that were sealed shut for years begin to creak open. Timelines that were static begin to shift. Your name becomes a frequency of interest in places you'll never visit, among people you'll never meet. Every system, social, digital, energetic, begins recalibrating around you. You won't be able to track the mechanics, but you'll feel the results. The path in front of you will begin to organize itself with strange precision. Things will start clicking that shouldn't. Situations that once seemed random will reveal themselves as orchestrated. That's not magic, that's feedback. But here's the part that will challenge you the most. The psychological backlash that follows alignment. When all of this starts unfolding, your first instinct won't be excitement. It will be doubt. You'll question every opportunity that presents itself. You'll look at the door that swings open and convince yourself it's a trap. You'll ask, what's the catch? Why me? What do they want in return? Because your logical mind has been trained to believe that anything this synchronized must be manipulation. You'll start rationalizing it away. It's just luck. It's coincidence. They probably confused me with someone else. You'll analyze it to death until your intuition can't breathe. You'll question whether you deserve it, whether it's safe, whether it's real. And in that hesitation, you'll risk missing what you actually created. Not a gift from nowhere, but the return signal from your own broadcast. This isn't the universe testing you. It's the universe confirming you. The opportunity won't be random. It will be the physical manifestation of energy you already put into motion long ago. Every act of integrity, every unseen kindness, every time you chose restraint over reaction, those were seeds. This is the harvest. But the harvest doesn't come gift-wrapped. It comes disguised as uncertainty, because life needs to verify that you're still the person who planted those seeds. So when the alignment arrives, when someone reaches out with an offer that feels too right, resist the urge to retreat into fear. Don't sabotage it with suspicion. Don't shrink from what you summoned. Pause. Breathe. Observe. Then remember. Nothing that belongs to manipulation feels peaceful in your nervous system. But the things born of your own energy always do. If it feels aligned, calm, quietly inevitable, that's not a trap. That's your own signal coming back home. So when you stand at that threshold, and your mind screams, "This can't be real," remind yourself, it is. It's the proof that authenticity still bends the structure of reality. It's not superstition. It's physics of consciousness. You shifted probability just by being who you are when no one was watching. And now, that shift is looping back, bringing with it opportunities, people, and resources you once thought were out of reach. All because you did one simple thing. You stayed human when it would have been easier not to. You're going to wonder what they really want from you. You'll question every gesture, every compliment, every perfectly timed coincidence. You'll scan for hidden motives, dissect every word, and silently brace for the moment when the illusion cracks. You'll ask yourself, what's the price? What part of me will I have to trade? What boundary will I have to bend? And I'll be blunt with you. You're not entirely wrong to ask those questions. There will be costs. There will be tests. There will be moments that push you into corners you've never stood in before. But here's the difference. Those costs aren't designed to strip you of your integrity. They're designed to expand your capacity. The tests won't be about betraying your soul. They'll be about growing into the magnitude of what you've already earned. The prices you'll pay aren't the kind that destroy you. They're the kind that reveal you. They'll force you to confront old limits, outdated self-perceptions, the quiet ways you've been underestimating yourself for years. You'll be challenged to step into rooms that intimidate you, to speak when your instinct says stay quiet, to own your value when humility tries to disguise itself as self-doubt. This isn't punishment, it's preparation. You're being asked to grow into the scale of the life you've already called toward yourself. And this growth won't come wrapped in comfort. It will come through mirrors, powerful people reflecting your own potential back at you. It will come through opportunities that scare you precisely because they're real. You'll feel exposed, seen in ways you never have been before. You'll feel the old version of you trying to pull you back into familiar safety. But every great expansion begins with the death of an outdated identity. You can't enter the next frequency wearing the armor of your past. This is where the real test begins. The universe doesn't care how well you perform. It cares how well you receive. Can you receive recognition without guilt? Can you receive opportunity without turning it into desperation? Can you stand beside power without mistaking it for validation? That's the exam you're walking into, the test of internal stability. They're not testing your skills, they're testing your energetic equilibrium. They want to see if your integrity bends when the environment changes. They want to know if you can walk through a penthouse and still see the janitor with the same eyes of respect you had when you were one paycheck away from collapse. They want to know if your humility is authentic or conditional, if your kindness is constant or situational. The truth is, people at the highest levels The ones who really move reality have seen too many shapeshifters. They've watched good people crumble under pressure, abandon principles for access, trade authenticity for applause. They're not looking for another performer. They're looking for someone whose soul doesn't glitch when power walks into the room. Someone who doesn't measure human worth by net worth. Someone who remembers that titles expire, but essence doesn't. You have that. That's why your signal pierced their field. That's why your name appeared in conversations you weren't invited to. That's why these doors are creaking open now, after so many years of silence. You didn't manipulate your way into this. You magnetized it. You carried a frequency that refused to decay under pressure, and now that frequency is calling you upward. But here's what most people don't understand about elevation. It doesn't just lift you, it exposes you. It magnifies your patterns. Every insecurity, every self-sabotaging reflex, every unresolved belief about your worth will rise to the surface the moment you start being seen. The spotlight doesn't just reveal your talent, it reveals your truth. The universe isn't trying to embarrass you, it's trying to refine you. You can't carry false humility or hidden shame into environments built on energetic precision. So yes, there will be prices. The price of being misunderstood. The price of outgrowing old circles. The price of saying no to things that used to define you. The price of watching people misinterpret your growth as arrogance. The price of being studied, envied, even targeted by those who don't understand the kind of frequency you operate on. But these are not costs of compromise. They are the tolls of transformation. You are crossing into rare territory, and rare always comes with resistance. And yet through all of this, the one non-negotiable is this: stay you. Stay as you were in the moments that no one witnessed, when you acted from purity, not performance. Stay grounded, even as you rise. Stay human, even as you're surrounded by machinery. Because that's what they're really watching for, not your polish, not your strategy, but your consistency. They don't need another mimic. They need proof that authenticity still exists at scale. They need someone who can walk into luxury and still speak the language of compassion. Someone who doesn't confuse visibility with value. Someone who can handle power without inhaling it like oxygen. Someone who can shake hands with kings and still kneel to help a stranger. That's why you're being chosen. That's why your energy registered when others went unnoticed. The doors that were locked weren't waiting for your credentials. They were waiting for your frequency to mature enough to unlock them. And now they are. But here's the twist. Elevation doesn't mean the universe will hand you a crown. It means it will hand you a mirror. And when you look into it, you'll see both the potential and the peril of who you're becoming. You'll see how much discipline it takes to remain soft in a hard world. How much courage it takes to stay humble when you finally have proof you were right. How much grace it takes to be powerful and still choose gentleness. That's the path you're on now, and the rarest one. The path of someone who was never meant to be saved or celebrated but recognized. Someone who carries proof that integrity still works. That goodness still transmits, that humanity, when amplified through the right person, can still alter the geometry of fate. So when they call your name, when opportunity knocks in the most unexpected way, don't question whether you deserve it. You built this with your energy, your endurance, your choices when no one was watching. That's all for today. Dear Father, I pray for the growth of my faith. Help me trust you even when physical evidence is lacking. Let me believe in your perpetual presence, knowing you will never harm me. I understand that your thoughts for me are thoughts of prosperity and not harm, to give me a good future. Thank you, gracious and eternal Father, for always listening to my voice. I offer up this prayer to you in the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you, Jesus, for your love and provision. I am grateful for your presence in my life and the abundance you bring. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with those who need to hear this message. Leave a comment below about your journey and how you are preparing for your own triumphant return. If you'd like to support our work, please consider contributing through Buy Me a Coffee. This helps us continually improve our content to offer you the best. The link to Buy Me a Coffee is in the description. No gift is too small. Whether it's a penny, a prayer, or a share, your generosity helps spread God's word and brings hope to others. Don't stop here. Watch our next video for powerful revelations about the signs that reveal you are the chosen one. We've enjoyed following this spiritual journey with you. Thank you for staying with us until the end. Keep shining brightly and embrace your destiny with courage. See you next time. Blessings to all the beautiful souls from the Enlighten Wisdom.